Before the prominent Christmas films that we love so much today, we were sort of limited in the sense with the occasional special that would come out every year or so. It gave us some fantastic and traditional Christmas stories that we know today. From Frosty the Snowman to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, billions of people today know those jingles and the stories behind them. Today, we put one foot in front of the other as we break down our top five Christmas specials. This is a Comic Talkers production, and of course, you were listening to just 4 clicks.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
With Patty B in the house, and it's Mr. B Dog, and he's here for cheer because we are here to talk about Christmas specials. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Patty B.
We're gonna keep that in now.
trying to mesh that one in. With me today, as always, is my lovely co-host, Mr. B Dog, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? You look a little tired this morning.
You don't say. No, I'm just messing. I am excited. Christmas is near and dear to my heart. When we talked about doing Christmas, this was the first thing I asked Pat to do was to do Christmas specials because I don't think Christmas specials get a lot of love.
They're slept on for sure.
And frankly, to me, this is something I do every year. I'll watch these Christmas specials. I'll sit here. I'd rather watch those in the movies and just sit here and enjoy them. And it's fun to watch them. So, yeah. So today we are going to be going over our top 5 Christmas specials. But the thing is that with this, these are our personal opinions. This is not an overall list. So drop in the comments what your top 5 Christmas specials are. This is pretty much how we classify it, like an hour or less of these Christmas specials. So without further ado, I'm going to let Pat start this one off. Pat, what's your number 5? I'm going to judge you secretly.
My number 5 is one that, I kind of stuck to what I knew on this list. And then what I did was I tried to rewatch what I could get to, but I was able to rewatch a majority of this. It is Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Okay.
From 1970, I believe. It premiered in December of 1970, which is right before Christmas. It's got a pretty good cast with Fred Astaire, Mickey Rooney, Paul Frees, and Keenan Wynn. It's got a lot of classic songs, Christmas songs throughout. I think that's why I like it so much. It's very nostalgic. Mind you, I'm a big fan of that stop motion animation that we see. I know there's a few that we're probably going to talk about today that have to do with the stop motion animation, but I kind of intertwined it with the monologue that folks were able to listen to at the beginning of the show, where it's that the song from this is the "Put one foot in front of the other." When I watched this and listened to that, I was like, dude, I love that song as a kid. So no, it's just a good one, man. It shows us a lot of what they were capable of back then as far as how they were making this stuff. Like, I think it was just the animation was next level for its time, and I think we can even say that about other specials that came before it.
Like Rudolph was a perfect example of that.
Rudolph was before this one technically. So, I mean, it's just crazy, and the visuals look so good for it being, the mid 60s to early 70s. So, no, I have this one at the top of my list, or at the 5, I would say, and that's what I'll go with. So yeah, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
They did an Easter one with the same people too. Same engineer, same everything. It was the same mailbox driver that does a train engineer, and it's called
probably directed by Jules Bass. Is it the same director and everything?
Director. Yeah, it literally is the Easter Bunny is coming to town.
Gotcha.
All right.
What about you, Mr. B Dog? What do we got for number 5?
So my number 5 might be a cheat, okay, because it is part of a show, but it was their only really Christmas episode that they had.
That'd be a South Park episode.
No, I'm not talking about the turd and Christmas one. I don't like that one. Or the one where he's like, I miss Christmas, you know. Let's
Mr.
go
Hanky,
now. You and me, right now.
Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo.
Um, but I am going with a superhero show. And if anybody does not know me on Comic Talkers, my introduction was Batman the Animated Series. I am going with Christmas with the Joker. This is where
Okay.
you get the iconic jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin lays an egg, Mobile lost a will, and Joker got a.
An iconic jingle when I was growing up. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times as a kid I heard that.
You know who sings that?
Mark Hamill, I'm
It
assuming, right?
is Mark
Mark
Hamill.
Hamill.
Mhm.
Luke Skywalker, if
Luke
anyone's
Skywalker.
interested.
But this was something so iconic to me. Batman's still going out on patrol. Even Robin's trying to tell him he should call him off for the day because there's really not a lot of crime going on Christmas Eve. And so pretty much they go out just to show it, and pretty much nobody's really committing a crime. So they go home, they put on It's a Wonderful Life, and then Joker interrupts them. And it's like a whole telemarketing thing that he's pretty much taken over every channel. And he is like, he's kidnapped Commissioner Gordon, Bullock, and I believe it was the mayor's daughter. Don't take my word for that. It's been a little bit since I've watched him. But it's pretty much up for Batman to go up against the Joker and his little gadgets that he has set up for him to face off and everything. It's a really fun episode to watch. It's actually what made me enjoy Mark Hamill's Joker a lot more. He is pretty prominent throughout the series, hence why Mark Hamill is pretty much the voice of Joker in most of animated features or animated shows of him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really good to watch this show. It gives that nostalgic feeling. Like I said, I watched it last year. It was the last time I watched it, and it still gives me that nostalgic feeling. This was my first episode I ever watched of the show. So, and it,
Really? Like the Christmas special itself was the first episode you watched?
yeah, because I want to say I was like 4 when I watched it. I used to go with my mom to her job, and so she used to give me these tapes that just had the biggest episodes of the series of different characters. So there was one for the
Yeah,
Joker, one for Robin, one for Two-Face.
got it.
And Christmas with the Joker was like the first episode on that tape for the Joker. And I just remember really loving that episode. And it's really fun. I enjoy it. It premiered on November 13th, 1992. So it's just a fun one to watch. It's a good, it keeps you on your toes a little bit, even though it's a cartoon. It makes you enjoy the show a lot more. So yeah, number 5 is going to be Christmas with the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. So Pat, what is your number 4?
I'm bringing out the classics today. I'm going with probably one of the more prominent characters of Christmas. I'm gonna go with Frosty the Snowman from 1969.
Frosty the Snowman.
Was a jolly happy song with a corn cob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made of blue. Sorry. Um, no, this one isn't it's not the stop motion animation that we were referring to in my previous pick. This one is just more of a traditional cartoon animation look to it. And still for its time, it's very sharp. It's got a lot of good color to it. The characters are well drawn. It just looks good. Obviously no one's really heard of the story of Frost the Snowman,
What's wrong with you if you've never watched it?
yeah,
How do you not know it's literally a song for crying out loud.
it breaks it all down for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the Magic Top Hat brings life to the snowman as we know it. A group of children that a group of children have made, right? They're in this story in particular. You have the magician, professor. I sound like
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery talking about Christmas movies. Um,
It's either that or a mixture of Jim Carrey's Grinch with you too.
He's like, ho ho ho, bitch. There's an evil magician named Professor Hinkle, who kind of wants the cat back, right? The temperatures start to rise. If we don't fix things in time, Frosty will melt and no longer be a jolly soul. And especially, if the kids can't get him away from Hinkle and the warm weather, then, you know, it's no bueno for Mr. Frosty. But no, it's a great story. Very short watch, by the way. If you have a really bad attention span when you're watching stuff like this, I recommend it because it's a good 25-minute watch. Before you know it, it's gonna be over with like that. It's like watching your sitcom show every Tuesday or Wednesday. Um,
It's one of those that my favorite scene. That whole scene is when they're crossing the street and the cop's like, "Oh, hi, what?" And then he chokes.
he had a second take himself.
He chokes on his fucking whistle.
It's funny.
No, that's a great pick. I have it as one of my honorables.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to put it on there because it's one that grows tiring sometimes to watch.
Yeah.
When you watch it over and over, it's like, okay,
Well, it's a cliche story, right? I mean, it's the guy gaining a power, the risk of him losing the power, and then everything's fine, right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. But no, it's just I love how you're introduced. You hear the songs Frosty the Snowman. Now we're putting a name to the face. You know what I mean? Or I should say a visual to what they're talking about.
right.
So no, I like it. This is a great little short. I recommend it to to everyone. If you want to go check it out. It's a little older, but if you can get past that, it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going with an odd one again. This is considered a Christmas special, so I don't want to hear it.
Let me guess. Are you going back to the comment? Are you going back to DC right now?
No, I'm not. No, um this is actually a Christmas special. Probably one you've never heard of.
I'm really intrigued right now.
The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus is my number 4.
Okay.
So pretty much it starts off now. How I always try to describe it to people who want to watch it, think Lord of the Rings mixed with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So pretty much you have all these group of immortals, different people from different things in control of different things throughout nature, throughout everything. And pretty much they come together because Santa Claus is dying at this point. And they're toying with granting him the right to be an immortal, which is unheard of for a human. And so they kind of go over his life story as him, being raised by one of them by a fairy, to be let out to the world to try to spread happiness and joy. And they come across people who don't want that, or there's monsters who now they're treading on their territory, and hence they're going to go after them. And they start targeting the toys, the kids, things like that to really like make things a hassle on Santa. But then the mortals come in and take him down. It's really fun to watch this one. It's not really a tale you've really heard of with Santa, and I think it's really well done how it's portrayed. It's also another Jules Bass creation.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this one because the fact being that it really is kind of it's different. You don't see a story like this, and I feel this is something I watch every year. Every year it's on, I have to put it on and watch it. Um, and you wouldn't think this is one I always felt like if you watch this outside Christmas, you wouldn't really know it was Christmas. Um, it kind of explains when Christmas is coming around. They try to say he created the toy, and it was like, okay, but it's just a fun one to watch. I love the great act. Pretty much think Gandalf, but with antlers on his head. I really enjoy this whole series. It's really fun, or this movie. It's 50 minutes long. It's really fun to watch. It's out in 1985. So, yeah, that's my number 4. I'm going to turn it over to Patty B for his number 3.
Real quick too. I mean, I'm looking on the list of what Jules Bass really did in this genre that we're talking about, and he is like the king of Christmas specials and just specials in general, man. I think this next one that I'm about to say is a Jules Bash creation. So I'm gonna go with the classic because this one was always one that stood out to me. Like this is one that I always thought of right off the get-go. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Um,
Nowhere on my list.
Someone had to do it, right? Um,
You're,
no, it's great. Again, I just can't get over the visuals of what they were able to do back then and how they were able to make the production of this look
Mhm.
with the whole stop motion animation. I mean, when you see movies like I'll say this, Brandon, because you know me, but newer depictions of the stop motion genre of Fantastic Mr. Fox,
Yep.
Isle of Dogs, stuff like that. It's just insane to see what they were capable of back then, and this is just on full display. This movie in general. It's the classic tale of Rudolph being kind of the one that's left out in the pack and has the
You can get to join any reindeer game.
exactly, exactly. Man, I'm trying to think of lyrics now. This, but I don't know, man. This is just one that I always loved as a kid. Whenever it was on TV and I saw it, I would definitely tune in to watch it a little bit.
Mhm.
I think this is a 50-minute one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's under an hour for sure. But yeah, that's my three. Number three. Um, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He had a little shiny nose.
And if you ever saw it, you would
You
even see it
say
glow.
hello.
My number three, I'm gonna start this off with two characters. If Pat can't get this right away, I'm gonna be really mad. Cold Miser and Heat Miser.
Are they part of the Seven Dwarfs?
They're trying to say they're Disney creations. No, these are better than
Yeah.
creations. No, I'm just joking. Don't at me. Um,
Own it. Yeah,
uh,
at him completely.
the year without a Santa Claus. This,
Okay.
this to me is a great, full-hearted film. Santa's sick, and they're trying to tell him you should take a break this year instead of focusing on delivering toys. Of course, knowing Santa, he doesn't like that. Um, so he goes, his Mrs. Claus sends out some elves to kind of go out and take a look at how kids are reacting to this. And that you see a lot of kids just really start believing in Santa.
Mhm.
And then Santa go, because of course the reindeer gets caught. The elves go, oh crap, what are we supposed to do? Santa comes down, says that the elf kind of encounters a kid and his family, and they kind of made him start believing again that Christmas is real. And there's even people, that whole city that they're in does not believe in Christmas or Santa or anything. And one of the mayor literally states, if it starts snowing here, then I'll start believing. Right. So of course that's where you get the iconic cold miser and heat miser situation.
Miser. Got it.
Because they want it to snow, but it's in the heat miser's territory. And then who's their mom? Mother Nature herself. So when they don't want to agree, where does Mrs. Claus go to? Mother Nature. And yes, Mother dear, like it's just, I love them. I don't care. I used to call them literally both my uncles because that's literally how they acted. But no, A Year Without a Santa Claus um is really good. It has Shirley Booth as Mrs. Santa Claus and Mickey Rooney as Santa.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mickey Rooney looks like he did a lot of work with Jules Bass, and of course, this is another Jules Bass creation.
Jewel Bass. And
Jules
it came
Bass.
1974, 51 minutes. This is a great movie. I really enjoy it. It's an every year watch for me too. But yeah, number three is A Year Without a Santa Claus. So Pat, what's your number two?
I'm my number two is
In
an
between.
iconic, and I mean iconic story in the Christmas world. Would you like to elaborate?
Are you talking the Grinch? You are talking the Grinch.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
So I have to admit, honorables.
Honorables.
Not even in my top 5. And I
Well,
think, like, I'll talk before you go into. I think the reason for me with that is that I've grown to love the movie more than
yeah.
just really like the special. The special's good, and for the animation, that's Chuck Jones animation.
Yeah.
So anybody does not know, that's Tom and Jerry, that's Looney Tunes. You know, Ricky Tikki Tavi. Yeah, I just pulled a deep cut, but I've grown to love the movie more over time with Jim
Yeah.
Carrey. But yeah, we'll talk about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Bat, why is it your number 2?
Uh, I mean, I don't think I could have. I didn't want to put this too low on my list. I think with just how iconic it is, and uh, I know, like you said too, the movie kind of overshadows the special a little bit, right?
Mhm.
And especially like look who played the Grinch in the live action version from 2001. You got Jim Carrey, who was one of the greatest actors of all time, one of the greatest comedic actors of all time. And I think for that, now that we're looking at it here in 2024, yeah, for sure that overshadows the special itself. But before 2001, all we had of the visuals of the Grinch was from this.
Yep.
And I think that's one important thing we have to kind of focus on. Um, like you're saying, it's developed by Chuck Jones. A crazy runtime for how iconic of a special this is, 25 minutes.
Yeah, they kind of fast paced the.
Right? I mean, that seems kind of low. I mean,
Well, you got to remember too, when we talk about the movie added stuff to the story. It did not really add stuff from the book because the book really was well adapted into the special.
mhm,
So what you see in the special is what you see in the book.
yeah. I think I don't know, man. I love the character of the Grinch. I love the meaning behind him, like of kind of all this bad has happened. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I mean in the movie itself, like all this bad happens to him, and there's a reason why he hates this holiday, and there's a reason why he is the Grinch. But I mean, I wish I could do it. I just don't have a face like that. But that devilish smile, yeah. Look at you try to do it. One thing that always sticks out to me too is that one part in Home Alone 2, with Lost in New York, when
Yep.
he's in the limo and they give him your very own cheese pizza, and he's watching the Grinch,
Yeah.
and then the Grinch does the smile, and then it pans to Tim Curry doing the same smile.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've always loved that, dude.
Tim Curry makes me laugh every time that scene comes on because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
it is.
He's got that devilish smile, like,
And Tim Curry is probably one of the only people who got to. Well, Jim Carrey didn't do too bad with that. Like I didn't mind him
no,
doing.
no, no, no. And Tim Curry is not he's not the Grinch. He doesn't play the
No,
Grinch, right?
no, but I mean
It's
Jim
just the
Carrey did. But I think the only other person that really could do that is Tim Curry.
yeah. It's crazy, by the way. I saw a video of Jim Carrey kind of doing his facial expressions for the Grinch, and it's insane that he can look like the Grinch without
Yeah,
having the makeup on him. Like, it's insane, dude. Like, kind of freaky, honestly.
but I'm glad Grinch Stole Christmas made your list. I was curious to see if it was going to make your list or not. But I'm probably going to go with a more iconic Christmas special because it's known for a Christmas tree that doesn't look like a Christmas tree. I'm going with a doghouse that won first place in a Christmas lighting contest. I'm going with the Charlie Brown Christmas as my number 2. I love Charlie Brown. Don't at me in the comments if you don't. Everybody has the right to their opinion. Charlie Brown to me has always been a part of my life since I was a little kid. From the Great Pumpkin to Thanksgiving to Christmas. You know, the premise, it's kind of stupid a little bit, but it's a play going on and all they're doing in the play is dancing. That's why I was like, okay.
Mhm.
But it's a fun story. I love the tree. What they get the tree and they didn't like it and they didn't support him with the tree. And he goes and try to make it his own. He's pissed off everything, and you see them all come together because they realize they've screwed up and they crapped on Charlie Brown like they always do. And it's just a fun tale to watch. It really is. The animation to me is still iconic to this day. See them all. That's where you get the iconic dance moves, like I said, and then you get in the Great Pumpkin too a little bit. It's just all over the place wherever you see it. Um, I don't think if the Christmas special went well, we wouldn't have gotten the love and support we do now with the Peanuts. Um, not like we used to. Um, I love the ice skating scene in the beginning of the movie. I think that's really
Mm.
iconic. Christmas time is here. Um, those are fun to watch. I love that's what I loved about the movie they did with it. Not about what, maybe 8, 10 years ago.
Yeah, didn't they do like, and it was a different kind of animated look to it,
Yeah,
right?
so Illumination, or Blue Sky took it over, and Blue Sky made it. And they actually that was one of the first things they had was the ice skating scene. And I thought that was really well done. It shows you how much they went back into the archives of Peanuts and put it into them. That I did enjoy. Um, but yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas is something special. I decorate my desk this way every year now. So I have the Christmas Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I got my cleans up on my windows. Um, Pat, you know exactly what our booths look like. So I have the little windows there. I'll put the cleans up to hang them up, make them look
Yep.
like it's fun to do, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas is my number two. So Pat, before we go to our number ones, what's your honorable mentions?
So, um, as far I kind of had to dig deep on this kind of thing. Dig deep. That was kind of intense. The one you mentioned earlier, I was gonna say I have seen that one, the Year Without a Christmas, or with the Year Without a Santa Claus, I believe. That one, I enjoyed that one as a kid. I know that for sure. Uh, Frosty's Winter Wonderland from 1976.
That's also on mine for
Yeah, that's a good one.
Andy Griffin is the narrator. Holy crap, that's I love him. I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was one of mine that I had. Mickey's Christmas Carol also made my list as an honorable. Um, Fans are probably saying, "Why the hell is there not a lot of Christmas Carol movies?" I got you. Don't worry. I just want to. You guys haven't even heard from my number one yet. Um, but I love the Mickey's Christmas Carol. I also have Frosty's Winter Wonderland. I also have
Mhm.
Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
Jesus Christ.
I
Like
love.
Mr. Magoo, like Leslie Nielsen, Mr. Magoo?
No, it's the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. It's actually really good. The songs are really good, but it makes you laugh every time. The last one I have on my list is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I don't know why.
Of course. Dude, if there's anything,
That movie made me laugh.
no, I'm sorry, but like if there's any subject that we'll do, man, you're just gonna find a way to intertwine some kind of comic book based thing inside of it.
Okay,
I love it, but I just know you, bro.
have you seen the holiday special with them?
I think my son's watched it, but I don't think I've watched it. I might have like walked in the living room while it's happening.
But yeah, no, those are my honorables. So Pat, what's your number one?
My number one is your number two. I'm going with A Charlie Brown
I could
Christmas.
see it in your facial expressions. You look either you were constipated or you were pissed that he had
No, I was like fighting because I was like, should I say it now? But I kind of try to withstand the format of this show and get through the honorable mentions first. But no, I love this movie for the same reasons you mentioned, I also, again, I know I always keep bringing it up, but man, for the time frame that this was made, 1965, it's only a 30-minute special, but man, does it have some really great visuals in it. I love the cover art of it where it's I believe it's Charlie in the snowfield with the doghouse in the background with all the stars. It's nighttime, and then there's that little pathetic Christmas tree that they have out. But no, it's just a classic special from Charlie Brown. I mean, the Peanuts. I mean, they're iconic in their own right. We all know that the Great Pumpkin is iconic in its own right, especially for the Halloween time. But guess what? This is not Halloween time. This is Quizmoy.
With
Um,
Chrysler, Mary Chrysler.
Mary Chrysler. So dumb. But yeah, man, you guys should check it out. A Charlie Brown Christmas. Like I said, it's from 1965. It's a family fun animated special. Go give it a gander. Go check it out. And yeah, that concludes my list of Christmas specials.
All right. So my number one is gonna be a shocker to people. It's the Star Wars holiday special. No, I'm just fucking.
Yeah, dude, come
I'm
on
just
now.
fucking with you.
It's Captain America. Captain America's sleigh ride, bro. That's what
That
I'm
would
thinking.
be a dope. No,
Be honest something, bro.
but holiday special for Star Wars is fucking terrible. Don't watch that shit. No,
They make an animated version of a Christmas special, or is that the one I'm thinking of?
that's they mixed it. It was live and animated.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, it has what's her face Dorothy from Golden Girls is in that one. The main cast. Chewbacca has a
Like
wife.
Betty White's in it, you mean?
No. No, what's her face? Not is it Dorothy? That's no Dorothy. That's not Betty White.
Sophia, or you
The
thinking about
daughter. They have the mom and daughter, the daughter of that group.
in the Golden Girls?
Mhm. The tall one.
Familiar with B. Arthur,
Yes. She's in that.
the tall one. Yeah, once you said the
I
tall one,
couldn't remember. I thought that was her name was Dorothy.
got it.
But now my number one is going to a musical of A Christmas Carol. I'm going with The Stingiest Man in Town. This is something another Jules Bass production.
He was BS.
Um, this it's okay. So get this: who narrates it? The character's name is called Bah, B-A-H, Humbug, and literally he's a bug, and his mom called him that because she remembers how many times Ebenezer Scrooge said Bah Humbug, and it was just planted in her brain. But he is voiced by Tom Bosley. This was released in 1978. Walter Matthau is Ebenezer Scrooge. I enjoy this story because, again, this is another classic tale of, and it does sit at an hour long. Okay. So I got it right in my hour mark. The Stingiest Man in Town is a really good tale. I know they've tried musicals. You're going to hear us try to do a Muppets Christmas Carol, and they did try to make it a musical. It did not work. This,
Really, what could have gone wrong on that?
everything. This did, though. And the difference between this one and others is that this one, they incorporate some of the monologue from the book and everything into their songs.
Mm.
So, like the scene with Fred, his nephew, coming in. And it's like, Merry Christmas, Uncle Scrooge. Humbug. Like they turn that whole scene into a music scene. And it really works. Like one of my favorite ones is Bells in his song. That is a very sad song. Or not a sad song, but it's like, oh, they're in love. And then when you hear that, kind of the song they go to afterwards when they break up, it's very sad. It's very emotional. Walter Matthau did something Michael Caine couldn't. He actually showed expression. And the sad thing is, he wasn't even in a live action version of it. Did through
Yeah,
an animated version.
that was definitely one thing we discovered where Michael Caine might be the worst Scrooge of all
Well,
time.
he's just straight faced. He is just like it's like
Nothing but business.
yeah. Which yeah, it could be good, but when you're really trying to tell a story of about a man changing his ways, you have to have a little emotion. And Michael Caine didn't have emotion in that film. He was
Do you
very
do you think when they were making the Muppets Christmas Carol that they realized like halfway into shooting, they're like, bro, he is not doing what we
no.
want him to do.
There's a chance, but when you have somebody like Michael Caine willing to come on, I don't
What are
think
you
that.
gonna Yeah, I think that was a big step in its own right, right?
But like something else I love about the Stingiest Man is the scene between Marley and Scrooge.
Mhm.
Um, Marley comes in and he's kind of creepy because he does this. They do this whole close up of this, like his head blows up, like oh. But his song is so well done. I wear these chains, these heavy chains, and pretty much he tells them like this is how he got his chains. This is, and then he even says, although my chains are very strong, your chains are even stronger. Because Scrooge is continuing going down this path. This is the first time that I feel like Marley really got creepy for me and made us realize that there's more to life than anything else. I really enjoy him in this. There's some that are like, okay, this is kind of a stupid scene, like the scene with Ghost of Christmas Present, the first scene you see with them. It's kind of a stupid scene. You know, they just put that in for the kids.
Mhm.
But the rest of it actually did really well in telling the story. Um, Tiny Tim's song is really it's a really sad song too. Because it was Present who shows him that in that one that Tim doesn't survive. And he goes and he pretty much tries to tell him that this boy pretty much had his whole life ahead of him. And Scrooge, like, I really that's where I felt you saw a change in Scrooge. And it was a really well done story. Um, I recommend anybody who has not watched this to watch it. It is you're gonna sit there, the songs are gonna get stuck in your head, but it's so well done. I think this is by far, if you're going to do a musical about the Christmas Carol, this is the way to do it. I know Scrooge, they did it too. Scrooge on Netflix with Luke Evans, they did a really good job of it too.
Mhm.
But The Stingiest Man in Town is fantastic. It's one of I watch this every year. December 1st comes on, I'm watching it. And I actually have it on. My mom taped it when I was a kid, and then we actually have it now on DVD. So we just go straight and watch it. That is something I do with my mom every year, which I really enjoy. So, yeah, Stingiest Man in Town is my number one. And that finishes off our list. So let me ask you, Pat, before we end this podcast out, were there some that you go automatically, no, this would have never made my list?
All the ones that I didn't name.
um, Christmas or Star Wars Holiday Special was never going to make my list. Absolutely not. Um, Pinocchio's Christmas too. I can't do
You say,
Pinocchio.
yeah?
Pinocchio. They did a Christmas special with it.
Oh, Little Drummer Boy was the one I was gonna say.
Little Drummer Boy is. I think that movie gets a lot of hate. Is it something I watch every year? No, it's not my thing. But that doesn't mean it's not a good
Hmm.
special.
Jack Frost was another one.
You would have put on yours?
I don't know.
I didn't mind that one. That's one I watch when it's on TV. It's not one I watch. Oh, here's a good one for you. Rudolph Shiny New Year.
Oh,
Never,
yeah.
never gonna make my list. And it's sad because that deals with history, and I absolutely cannot stand that one. That have a happy, have a happy, have a happy, happy New Year. I can't stand that song. That song gets on my nerves. That and the 4th of July one they did too was so stupid.
They did a 4th of July.
Yeah, it's Frosty and his wife and his kids. It takes it's same like animation style, the same designs like they had in Shiny New Year. It was not good. I think that was the last one they did, and they never did it again. It was a terrible movie. But yeah, no fans, like we said. Let us know in the comments what your top 5 Christmas specials are. Let us know what Christmas specials wouldn't. Let us know if you even like the Star Wars holiday special. We're probably going to get a lot of no's, but we want to hear it. Check us out on Spotify for other great podcast episodes or movie podcasts. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Just for Flicks. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Patty B to take us out.
Thank you guys for listening to us blabber on about Christmas specials. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know me and B-Dog did as well. And, as I always say, you have to remember that we do it just for flicks.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.